It's Wednesday, February 14th, 2018, and it's time for Eezeey Gamer. What are we going to talk about? Dynasty Warriors 9. Yes! Dynasty Warriors 9 is out! And I've been playing, and I've got about 6 hours into the game right now. I haven't played it a super ton yet. I don't got to. So this is just kind of a so far, an initial, what do I think? So far, I really like it. It's Dynasty Warriors, feels like Dynasty Warriors, just in an open world. I didn't know how that really would work. And it's a big open world. This is not a small open world. Koei Tecmo has made a giant it is very expansive. I've tried doing a lot of the little side quest stuff, and it takes forever to traverse the map. There is so much to do. So they really have built a gigantic world. Now, it's not like Grand Theft Auto's, because Grand Theft Auto has a lot of big buildings and it's graphically superior and a lot of other things. A lot of Dynasty Warriors is trees, and open land, because there weren't a lot of big cities. They have like Luoyang and Luoyang and a few others that were bigger cities, but they're nowhere near as big as Los Santos. They're just not. There's no structures that are 60 stories tall. I mean, I think their tallest structure is maybe 10 stories tall. But they have built a giant world, and it does feel alive. There is a lot of things happening there. There is hunting, fishing, little bases to pick off here and there, little side quests that are all over the place. In fact, it's almost a little too overwhelming. There's so much to do in the beginning. It's hard to really decide what you should be doing. Because remember, in old Dynasty Warriors games, if you ignored something on the map, it could go real wrong. And if you ignored it, then you would lose an officer, and you could lose the level. So this, I'm always worried that it's like, if I'm not going towards the objective, are the people that are there going to get annihilated, and then I'm going to lose the game somehow? That's the part that's driving me nuts. It's like, I want to explore the world and do all those little fun things that are off to the side, but it's like I'm sitting there thinking to myself while I'm fishing, I'm supposed to be taking out Dong Zhuo, and I'm just fishing, or I'm hunting deer or something, and I'm going, Dong Zhuo is he's still a tyrant over there. Should I be taking care of that? Nah. One more fish. Just, come on, one more fish. Yes. Dong Zhuo's not going anywhere. He's still staying right where he is the whole time. Good. Changing characters, not easy. You remember in the old Dynasty Warriors games, of course, each level you could kind of choose the characters you wanted to put through it, and there was a free mode. So you could take more characters and just kind of throw them in through free mode. There's nothing really like that. This is the worst part. I don't know how to level up all my characters. I don't want to use Sun Jian for the entire thing. I want to be able to use other characters. But I've built up Sun Jian. So how do I go back and use a different character? Do I have to can I go backwards a chapter? Because now I'm in chapter 2. Chapter 1 is where all the, level 1, level 2, level 3 stuff is. So now everything that's out there is like level 6, 7 at least, and then 13, 14, 20s. So how do I level up these guys? How do I bring these guys from behind up? And changing your officers isn't easy either. It's like, in fact, I pretty much stayed with Sun Jian the whole time, because I'm still trying to figure out how to change an officer anyway. So, I mean, I will. I'm sure it's not as difficult, because I haven't given it too much thought, because I've just been trying to pick my way through the early story. Because you can still play this story as Wei and Wu, and then there's Wei, Shu, and then Jin has a story, and I think the others have a story as well. So there's a lot to still be done. I can see me easily putting 100 hours into this game. It is a lot of fun. It feels like a Dynasty Warriors game. The great thing about it is just the world feels alive. I mean, I was out hunting tigers. I didn't realize tigers roam the land so freely in China, but there's tons of them everywhere. And you can sneak around, and hunting with a bow is actually pretty easy. They make hunting with a bow not so difficult. but it's not like, I don't know if any character has a bow as their primary weapon, which is, a little sad because I like using a bow sometimes with some of the characters, but it seems like more now it's almost like kind of an afterthought. It's more for the hunting, and so I'm hoping to find out more because they do have different kinds of arrows. They have like poison arrows and fire arrows and things like that. So I'm hoping to maybe explore that. I want to find like a really big animal because they say they're like big animals or big. I haven't stumbled onto any of these things that have the giant treasure chests. I did wander into the middle of like 8 tigers, or no, it was 2 giant packs of wolves. They didn't take very much to take down. It's amazing. One guy takes down like 50 wolves pretty easy. So, but the thing in the middle wasn't worth anything. So the other kind of nagging part is until you get the sun crown. I think it's called the sun crown or the gold crown, one of the two. You have to physically go and pick up everything that is dropped. Whereas when you get that, the things automatically come to you. Whatever you kill or whatever, it comes to you. Now, not the materials that you pick up along the ground, those don't just pop to you, but anything that you get from an officer or a treasure box or something like automatically comes to you. So if you kill an officer and then wander off somewhere else to go kill some more officers, the stuff from them will come over to you. But in the first chapter, you pretty much have to go and pick all that stuff up yourself. You really don't get in. You really have to get past that first chapter before you get into one of the big town that has the stables, trading, and a few other things. Early on, all you run into is a blacksmith and a shopkeeper. So you have to get past that first chapter to get to some of the other stuff, like the tea house and a few other things. You have to get past the first chapter. The second chapter kind of opens that up, and that's when the fishing and the hunting is made more mention of. Finding scenic points, finding your own hideaway. You can buy a house in there that you can design and decorate. It's a little odd to, it is 30,000. 30,000 is what they cost. And so it's like, I'm going, I don't have enough to just spend 30 grand on a house in, Dynasty Warriors. Thing is, I'm just riding around all over the place anyway. Not too many times where I could just sit Sun Jian in his little hut and say, Dong Zhuo's still over there. It's like, yeah, but I've got to figure out where I want to put this dresser, and then I got to figure out where I want to put this tapestry. As you can tell behind me, I do a lot of decorating. Beautiful. That's probably what my place would look like. It'd probably have a couch. That's it. There it is. There you go. Sit down on your couch. You don't need to look at anything. That's what the TV's for. You'll be good. You'll be fine. So, initial impressions. Dynasty Warriors, a little bit of a negative. Still a lot of draw-in problems. You had to figure a game that they've always had a problem with frame rate. It barely chugs along at its 30 frames per second. It has its slowdown moments, which are, it's almost like a Dynasty Warriors thing. I mean, if we played a Dynasty Warriors game without slowdown, I don't know if we'd know what to do. We wouldn't think it's a Dynasty Warriors game. It's tough to fit hundreds of, character models on a screen at the same time and not make the frame rate chug. It's tough, and I give Tecmo Koei all the credit in the world. They've been working on it for years, trying to make it better, and it's not as bad as it used to be. It's still pretty decent. It's still pretty decent, and it's not as bad as it used to be. Because you remember in like Dynasty Warriors 4 or 5 or even 3, if you would do your Mushu move and in the middle of a ton of people, sometimes you would have to wait for that initial thing to stop, just so that your character would start moving and doing all of its Mushu stuff. So, I don't know. I still love the game. I'm having fun with it. I'm probably gonna dump at least 100 hours into this. I paid $85 for the premium version so that I could have a few more things, and it's not worth it. Spend the 60. The extra $25 isn't worth it, because now to get $1 of MVPH per hour there, monetary MVPH is monetary value per hour. I'm gonna have to play it for 85 hours to get it down to $1 an hour. but I have a good feeling I'm going to make it. So it's like, I think easily any Dynasty Warriors fan is going to get their 60 hours out of this. They'll get 60 hours out of this game if you want to play through Wei, Wu, Shu, and Jin. And then the other, you're probably going to want to. It probably Wei, Wu, and Shu all end relatively the same. It's just maybe Cao Cao or Liu Bei or, I don't know if it's going to be Sun Jian. He usually doesn't make it through the whole thing. It usually ends up being like, not Sun Ce. There's another one that's the hierarchy, but I'm very happy with the game. I've enjoyed it. I've liked playing it. I've been waiting for the new Dynasty Warriors one to come out since 8. And it hasn't disappointed. This open world has been a lot of fun. It's just a little overwhelming trying to figure out what to do, how to level up some of my other characters. I'm not sure. Maybe they're leveling up the same way my character is. Maybe I can just go grab one. But I haven't tried changing characters, so I don't know. I know that my officers, though, I went in from level 1. I beat the level 1 boss when I was level 14, and he was level like 23, somewhere in there. Well, starting chapter 2, all of my main guys like Hung Gai and Chu Bei, or I can't remember his name, but they're all level 22. So I'm hoping that means that they're dragging up the characters with me through the ranking. So if I go, let's say I want to take one of those other characters, maybe he'll already be leveled up. He'll already have those levels, and I'll just have to spend the points to put him where I want him. So I'll have to, like I said, this is an initial. I haven't gotten deep into this game, but right now I am having fun. And if you are a Dynasty Warriors fan, just off the 6 hours I play where I haven't really scratched the surface, I would say get this game. Get it, $60. I mean, there is a ton to do in this game, and it feels like Dynasty Warriors in an open world, and it is. It's a lot of fun, and there's a lot of stuff to do. And you can wander off the beaten path, and there's hunting and gathering stuff that you can do out there, and you can find little secrets in places, and the world is huge. So there are a few gripes, and maybe next week I'll do another video on this, because I'll definitely have put in probably 20, 30, 40 hours into it by then. This is a game that's going to eat up a lot of my time. I know it is. It's like anything. It's like, well, I could go do that, but I play Dynasty Warriors. I do allow myself every once in a while to just kind of binge play games and just forget about other things I should be doing just to do this, and then I'll catch up with all that stuff once the game becomes boring. I'll get back to all that other stuff. So initial reaction, if you are a Dynasty Warriors fan, I can't give it a grade, of course, because I haven't played the whole thing. But initial reaction is, if you're a Dynasty Warriors fan, if you like these types of games, if you even like just open world sandbox games where you can just go wreck fools, get it. If you've ever played Hyrule Warriors or, maybe Fate Extella or something like that, if you enjoyed those games, you'll like this. So I recommend it highly right now. It's like, I'm not going to recommend it to every gamer on the planet, but if you like those kinds of games or Dynasty Warriors games, don't hesitate. Just get it. If you want to wait for it to go on sale, usually Dynasty Warriors games don't go on sale. They don't go on sale very often, so I don't really recommend it. If you want to wait a few years, you might get one for free on Xbox Live, but I don't recommend waiting for a sale. Just get the game and enjoy it. You'll have fun. If you love Dynasty Warriors games, you'll have fun. So with all that being said, to the troops, past, present, and future, thanks for the freedom.